Our next award that we're going to be presenting tonight is the India Abroad Gopal Raju Award for Community Excellence. And to present this, we're going to ask one of our leaders from this area. He's a state legislator in New Jersey and a real high-impact legislator and leader in New Jersey. Please welcome Upendra Chivakula. Nice to see you again. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I mean, I'm a regular at this show. Every year I get a call, I show up and I see the top leaders in the community. I really enjoy coming here.
So we've got something different for you today that we're doing. Instead of presenting one award in the name of Gopal Raju, many of you know that in addition to the media, one of his great passions was the importance of having Indian Americans play a role in politics.
Right.
And that's what we're going to do tonight. And we're going to recognize the sea change that happened with politics this year. First of all, I want to ask all of you who did anything beyond voting for either of the candidates in this political season to please stand up. If you did anything apart from voting, if you hosted a fundraiser, if you did anything special, just stand up, please. Don't be shy. We're not asking you to identify the party. Just stand up. Look at this. This is amazing, folks. Indian Americans used to sit on their hands. Now they're participating. This is wonderful. Give them a hand, everybody. And what we're going to do tonight is to recognize what we're calling the agents of change. And we have a couple of slides to show you a little bit about them. One of the people that we wanted to recognize right up top was Rita Bunsen, who comes to this every year and in fact helps us in many, many ways. But Rita is very busy working tonight in Washington, working at the Office of Management and Budget. And you know that she got a very important job. So we salute Rita in absentia. Rita Bunsen. Also not able to make it because he is so busy tonight in Washington is Nick Rathod, and we salute Nick as well. But we do have 4 folks that we're going to bring up and have them talk and receive the Gopal Raju Award for Community Excellence. And these are these beautiful first-time ever medals that we're going to be giving. And we're going to ask Upendra to medal them for us. And so I'm going to ask each of them to come up and join me up here. First, Rishi Karthikeyan. Rishi. Dave Kumar. Varun Nikor. Toby Chaudhary. And, oh, sorry. We have one more medal. All of these folks were working very hard for the Democrats this year, but among the agents of change, as we're calling all of these folks, was a person who was very involved in the Republican Party and someone who's made a big impact in the Republican Party this year. Please welcome Dino Taparia. Right? Upendra has a few words.
I thought it was going to be before this, but I'm asking you to believe, not just in my ability to bring about real change in Washington. I'm asking you to believe in yourselves, said Barack Obama. So many youth believed in themselves and in Barack Obama, and the change began. New South Asian faces, new South Asian empowerment was brought to the democratic electoral process all over the United States of America. The South Asian voter registration numbers grew rapidly. There was speculation about record-breaking turnout. Many people opted for absentee ballots because of the fear of long lines. Yes, there were long lines at the polls. South Asian voters were visible everywhere, and we had the youth from South Asian community cheering alongside President-elect Obama. It meant ownership and joyous celebration of youth empowerment, and it is time for us to recognize the youth who displayed true political empowerment on this special occasion. Thank you.
I'm just going to talk to each of you for a minute here, and let's go to Rishi Karthikeyan, who's attorney and founder of South Asians for Obama. When you founded that organization, it looked like Senator Obama's candidature was a non-starter, sort of. So tell us about that.
Well, I think, what really motivated us was the idea that what we needed in Washington was not just new people in power, but also new ideas, new participation from the public. And I think what we really believed in, Dave and I and others, was that every member of our community has a voice, and every one of those voices needs to be heard. And I don't think any of us standing on the stage is under the impression that our community became great upon our arrival, but rather we were tapping into a community that was both equipped and motivated to really get involved, and we wanted to really give them a vehicle to participate. And I think we managed to do that and really take a huge step forward.
Let's ask Dave Kumar, who's also an attorney and co-founder of SAFO. Tell us, what role do you think SAFO can play in the future?
I think President Obama said all along, and frankly on the night of his victory, that just electing him wasn't the end. I mean, that was just the beginning or the chance for change. And I think that we have a role to play in making sure that our community doesn't just sort of sit down and then stand up again in 3 years or 4 years when the next election comes around, but to remain involved both in politics and within our communities, because I think the line between community involvement and political involvement is a blurry one, and we all need to be involved and active in civic life.
Sure. Let me ask Varun Nikor, who's the founder of the Indian American Leadership Initiative. Your goal is to get more Indian Americans into the state and federal levels. How's that going, and what words of advice do you have for everybody here?
Well, I think we've certainly made some great progress over the last 8 years, but we're still very underrepresented politically. By our population, we should have at least 3 in Congress. We have none at the moment. We should have over 20 state legislators, and I think we have roughly half that. So while we are making amazing progress, I think in terms of the metrics and the benchmarks, we have a ways to go, and I think we're certainly on our way. Now, if you look at the number of folks that are working on campaigns, thanks to these two to my right, as well as the folks that are getting involved in politics where it really matters, handing out leaflets at the subway stops and knocking on doors, I think that naturally will translate over time into better community empowerment and more public service.
All right, thank you very much. Let's now go to Toby Chaudhary, who is a Democratic strategist and is with the Communications Director for the Campaign for America's Future. Tell us what we can learn here about what are the dangers you see for the Indian American community.
Well, there's a real opportunity. If there's one thing we learned this past election cycle, it's that as a community, when we work alone and as individuals, we are much weaker. And when we find ourselves beholden to each other and really find ourselves working as a national community, we are much stronger. And I'm tired of other people deciding who our candidates are, deciding what our issues are, deciding what our ideas should be. This is our time to define who our candidates are going to be, to bring our campaign managers and people who know how to run field operations together to put forward solutions to our community, and this is our time to do exactly that.
All right, thank you. Now, Dino, Do you feel a little outnumbered on the stage?
No, I don't, because I've worked with all these gentlemen, and what I would say is every Indian American who's run for office has faced some type of discrimination or a political attack at based on their heritage, whether they're Hindu, Muslim, or Sikh. And I want to get to the point where our community support is so strong for an Indian American candidate that they won't face those attack ads. It happened to Bobby Jindal in Louisiana, it happened to Swati Dandekar in Iowa, to Nikki Haley in South Carolina. They all face some type of attack ad, and we need to get to the point where we are so powerful as a community, we will not see those attacks on our heritage or our culture and the fact that we're from India.
All right. I just want to identify Dino properly. He is a former chief of staff to Congressman Joe Wilson and is the chair of the Indian American Republican Council. Folks, may I present to you the agents of change.